Hello and welcome to the International Pentagon Challenge. My name is Kyanite and together we'll be embarking on a very special Football Manager journey where we'll aim to try and win every major international competition in all 5 continents, forcing our hand to play with hundreds of different types of players and most importantly hopefully create loads of awesome different types of tactics along the way. Once that's complete, only then are we allowed to set our sights on the biggest of all goals, the FIFA World Cup. How many nations will we have to manage until we work our way to the top? How many dodgy names will we have to pronounce along the way? So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun along the way. Alright, hello everyone and welcome to episode 37 of the International Pentagon Challenge. So, our first ever World Cup, and hopefully, obviously, it's going to be the first of many World Cup competitions to come due to the nature of this particular type of save. So, we are managing England, and before we take a look at how we got on, I'm going to take a quick look at 2 nations that I know people in the comments wanted me to look at. So I believe Slovakia was one of them. We have a Slovakian viewer. I really can't remember your name off the top of my head, and I'm recording this right after the Chelsea-Barcelona game, and it's going to take ages to not only record but to also edit and get out and go to bed at a reasonable time and have it pre-scheduled to be uploaded on Wednesday in time. And yeah, it's a bit of a mess right now, so I'm not going to go back and check your name, but you know who you are. So what does your national team look like? Obviously I'm not going to look at every single individual player. What we'll do is look at your most valuable players. So kicking things off, we have Philip Vasco, 26 years old, plays for Southampton at the moment, valued at £48 million. In real life, plays for Udinese, so he definitely develops pretty decent centre-back, very good attributes all round. Dennis Petro is next, plays for Roma, also as you can see a real life player, plays for Lazio in real life, also seems a tidy player. I mean, in general, Slovakia always tend to produce pretty decent centre-backs, right? And yeah, and then you've got some 30-year-olds and stuff, so it doesn't really look like there are any special regens bar this guy who plays for Lille, 25 years old, Jaroslav Rehak. Played for Everton for a while, seemed to start his career at Bratislava, and obviously we don't really know much about the players, so we can't really talk about him in too much detail. But yeah, that's how Slovakia are doing in general. They are in the Division D for the UEFA Nations League, which really, putting them in a group with Andorra, Azerbaijan and the Faroe Islands kind of emphasises how much Slovakia have kind of fallen in recent years. To be honest, I consider them a half-decent team, but their World Cup qualifiers went a little bit poor as well. They were in Group 9 and, well, they finished in 3rd place behind Germany and Switzerland. So that pretty much sums it up for Slovakia. The other team someone wanted me to take a look at was Togo, and as we can see, they're ranked slightly higher than Slovakia are in the world. And in terms of their players, their most valuable player is Meme Piaka Fesu, 31 years old, plays in Belgium. So I think it's safe to say no real Adebayor-esque regens. Taking a look at probably decent youngsters, we've got Frank Segbefia, plays for Maranta in the Togo Premier League, and some other players, but yeah, there's not really much to say about Togo, so hopefully you've seen what you want to see. Khalid Nare seems to be their best player, 31 years of age at the moment, but probably due to how old he is, even though he is a bit of a star player for Togo, he's being neglected at the moment by Mensa. Mensa so good they named him twice their regen manager, so yeah. Schedule-wise, struggling really to qualify for the African Cup of Nations at the moment. Not had the best of years building up to where we are right now. And I guess that answers the question about Togo. So, in terms of our friendlies prior to the World Cup, what went down there? So I know I said that I might consider some of the teams that you guys recommended in the comments to play friendlies against, but to be fair, kind of building up to the World Cup, I needed to make sure, just in case, I wanted to make any last minute tactical tweaks, that we were playing against very, very good, solid opposition. Kind of on par with the level of some of the teams that we'd be facing at the World Cup as good preparation for the World Cup. And with all due respect to those nations, Togo and Slovakia aren't exactly those kinds of World Cup level teams. So we've got Colombia, who are in fact in Group H in the World Cup, and they may have won their first game. They've not played it yet, actually, against Saudi Arabia. We managed to beat them 4-0. It was really a great result against a very, very, very solid Colombia side. Match stats wise, it was very even. They were unlucky to not at least score a single goal, to be fully honest. But hey, it was good to see Pete Rig Dix react well to his call-up. 23-year-old regen, of course, valued at 32 million quid, offers something a little bit different to what Rosenthal does, and he has actually made our England squad. He's a bit of a Michael Owen-esque style of player, a good option when we want to go two up front and leave Rashford out on the left because his pace, really, he's just got pace to burn, this lad. So decent depth up front. Got subbed on in the second half for Harry Kane, and well, you could tell, that his pace took advantage of the high line that the Colombians were playing. And like I said, Colombia 9th in the world, so it was going to be quite the challenge for us. And yeah, we saw it off with ease. Next up was a 2-0 win against Belgium. Now, Belgium haven't qualified for the World Cup, but they're still within the top 20 within the world, right? Okay, they don't have players like De Bruyne and whatnot anymore, but regen-wise, Belgium always produce some decent players, and they still have some decent players like Dendoncker and Tielemans and whatnot. So, yeah, solid 2-0 win against them at Wembley. Didn't really create that many clear-cut chances, and probably only deserved to win 1-0 if it wasn't for that guy again, a Dendoncker own goal. But again, when you're not playing well and you still find a way to win games and keep clean sheets, we're doing something right, and that's exactly what we continued doing. And it really just was the icing on top of the cake of what's been a very, very good managerial career for us with England so far. We then played the DR Congo, who were doing incredibly well, and this was kind of an interesting one because I actually noticed Cedric Bakambu. Not Cedric Bakambu, sorry, what am I talking about? Where is he? I noticed a player who he managed at the under-21s. Kalulu. If you guys remember Kalulu, I managed him as part of the under-21s at one point, so I was really buzzing to see him on the pitch. But I don't think I recognised any other names. Actually, there was one more player who was Meshak Elia. He came on and played down the wing. Again, another player who I managed in my first job when I was the under-21s DR Congo boss. It just goes to show how long we've come in such a short period of time. And obviously, there's one or two familiar names like Mark Bowler, Jordi Huula, Kachunga as well, I believe, all those, and Shibola, yeah, maybe, no, I don't think we ever managed Shibola, but yeah, some familiar names there. Pretty straightforward match, really, against a very good team, 20th in the world, won that one 5-0. We completely dominated from start to finish. To be fair, Congo probably didn't play as well as they could have done. We took advantage of the extra man in the middle of the park, and Harry Kane was just on a bit of a mad one, really. 9.5 final rating for him, and he gave us a chance, to try the odd different thing out here and there, and it was really the second half that we came out all guns a-blazing. So Marcus Rashford put us 1-0 up like he tends to do early on in the first half, and then 46th minute, 47th minute, Bob's your uncle, game over. 53rd minute, 56th minute, by the 60th minute we were already 5-0 up, and then brung on some players like Pete Rig Dixie and Dixby, whatever he's called, some fresh legs to try out some of the youngsters and just try and explore options that I maybe haven't explored in the past prior to deciding on my World Cup squad. And last but not least, I think it could have been before the World Cup squad deadline. I'm not entirely sure, but obviously that's why these friendlies were incredibly important. We then had a very interesting game away at Canada, and it made sense because this World Cup's in Canada, so we're already in Canada anyways, you know, training and getting ready for the World Cup. Despite our dominance, we still somehow managed to concede not one, not two, but 3 goals to the Canadians, and what was even more disappointing was that it happened after we were 4-1 up. It was definitely a game to forget. Rosenthal didn't have the best of games, but yeah, you know, it kind of gave me one last chance to test out which players are in form coming into this Summer World Cup, which ones aren't. And simply because of the decent results we had against much better sides than Canada at Wembley, at home, in terms of the build-up to the World Cup, I'm not going to pay too much attention to this dodgy result because we still found a way to win. But we are going to have to play better than that if we are to get a win against the Czech Republic, who, just as a refresher, we played in our World Cup qualifier group, drew against once, and then beat at Wembley. So, without further ado, let's go into our first FIFA World Cup group game. Okay, here we go. Our starting lineup of our first World Cup game. Pretty much as you'd expect. But Joe Gomez comes in at right back instead of Chidi. That's because Chidi is currently recovering from an injury, but it could also be a blessing in disguise. As we know, this is the 3rd time we play these guys. They've got the big target man, Patrick Schick, up front, who plays for Arsenal in the Premier League. The name of the game for them is to defend deep, counter-attack and whip balls into the box. So having a slightly more defensively minded right back in the form of Joe Gomez could actually work in our favour. If my memory serves me correct, when we managed to beat them 2-0, we put emphasis ourselves on trying to attack, through the wide areas, simply because they were just so difficult to break down with this kind of like tank in front of the goal or bus in front of the goal where they play with the 2 defensive midfielders. So trying to go down the middle was really essentially relatively useless for us. So it's going to be important that we try and utilise width, play pretty direct, and most importantly, make sure our wingers are man-marking their wingers and that we're solid, down the wings ourselves, and that should hopefully also make room for us to counter-attack into and get balls into the box for Harry Kane. First team talk of the World Cup, tell him I'm expecting him to win, and now on to the tactics. So, what changes are we going to make? Chilwell will drop down to support. I'm going to make Joe Gomez a fullback on support, keep that nice and simple. Other than that, don't really want to make too many changes this early on. We'll look to play out our defence, and we will leave things the way it is. If we want to retain possession and change things around, as you guys probably know by now, I like to make small tweaks and then, tweak as I go along based on how I see the opposition play. In terms of our defensive line, we could maybe afford to go higher due to how deep the Czech Republic sit, but it's a neutral venue, so I don't want to bite off more than I can really chew at the moment. Modification I will do is, of course, make sure that our wingers are man-marking their wingers to make sure that they track back. But other than that, let's quite literally kick things off. So here we go then. Team huddles beforehand. I've had my, interview in the tunnel, and apparently I'm under pressure. I'm not quite sure, Football Manager, why I'm under pressure, but okay, we'll go with that. Okay then, so Harry Kane has got a yellow card already, which isn't really what we're looking for. What on earth? We're on key highlights. Okay, that explains why we've not seen anything. What a great start to the World Cup that is. So Harry Kane to Jones. Nice ball out wide to Roger Jepson, and we win a corner. Now, I'm not sure what our corners are going to be like. Normally we utilise Chidi for the in-swinger, but we've obviously not got Chidi on the pitch because he's recovering from an injury. I am hoping that we'll have Chidi for the next match because he is quite an important player for us, to be honest. And I think that's portrayed by... Wow, we're not seeing anything and we're on comprehensive. I think that's really portrayed by... Come on, boys, close him down. Portrayed by the goals that Chidi has scored for us under my management. So we've really not really seen much, which is very, very disappointing. We'll look to retain possession and drop our tempo a little bit. Hopefully that'll help us see the ball a little bit more. Obviously retain a bit more possession because 44% isn't really too good at the moment. And then, oh God. Okay, yeah, that's the thing. So, oh, I mean, I don't know. I, I don't know what to say. Um, I don't know what to say. It's that simple. Okay, that's just happened. Okay. So Rig is left-footed. So I'm going for it. I don't really have much of a choice, to be honest. I don't know I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's happened. Yeah. The less said about it, the better, I think. Let's just try and get a draw something out of the game. Jesus Christ. Okay. We'll drop that defensive line a little bit, simply down to the fact that Sheik does have some pace on him, but I didn't expect us to just not come out wanting to play football. I don't know. Like, I'm speechless. I'm absolutely speechless. Both those assists came down the side where Gomez was playing as well, but I don't know. Like, we're not seeing any highlights or anything here. We're meant to be on comprehensive. We've given the ball away. Sheik is onto it. He's gonna do well to hold it up. And Stones is Dele Alli's picked up an injury as well. It's all going to shit. What? Dele Alli has to come off. I mean, you can't make this up, really, can you? We've just got to get that ball forward. We got two very, very good, Premier League standard as striker. Harry Kane is one of the best strikers in the game, and we've just got to kind of go gung ho now. If we can find a goal and go in at half time at 2-1, then give them a bit of a rollicking in the team talk, and we might stand a chance. He's offside there. Only real change we have made is we brought on Eric Dyer for Michael Keane, who is yellow carded. Still same direct approach, really. Our line is even higher. We need an early goal this second half. I don't know what to say. I don't really know what to do. I'm kind of in panic mode right now. We need to get that ball forward, and well, that's just not how you cross the ball into the box, is it? That's far too easy for him. Shicks through, plays in him, and that's just wide. We've not defended today. We've not come to play football. I'm not quite sure what we've come to do. We're not winning the ball in the air. I don't know. So one thing we did when we beat them 2-0 was play with a defensive midfielder. That kind of helped us shield the back two. I remember that was something we did, but we kind of subbed off. What's his name? Lewis Cook, which isn't ideal. We'll drop Jones back to play there and bring on Helmy, who can. I can't make any more substitutions. Oh, it's kicking in now. I mean, I can't remember the last time I genuinely had this kind of predicament in this international Pentagon challenge, and that's what happens when you manage England at a World Cup. Okay, so one thing I have done is try and get us to play a little bit more narrow. So like the Czech Republic are very narrow themselves, so the idea is to try and try and take advantage of the space in the wide areas, but we're playing that direct ball forwards, and we're not winning it. We're not winning it. So maybe if we go a little bit more narrower, and we should be 4-0 down by now. If we go a little bit more narrower, we'll have more players constricted, and we can win that ball up front a little bit better. Jepson with a chance now to counter-attack. It looks like there's more white shirts than red shirts potentially, but it's a really good tackle. And let's bear in mind that these guys finished second in our group. We beat them once, drew against them once, but we've not shown up. And they are taking full advantage of how offensive I'm going. And I'm starting to wonder whether or not maybe we should have stayed calm and just carried on playing how we usually play. But in terms of qualification and whatnot, kind of going gung-ho has always worked relatively well for us. But it just isn't right now. Chilwell throws it straight to the Czech Republic player. Harry Kane, one-on-one, is offside, and he still can't find the back of the net. He still can't find the back of the net. When you're a manager and you're on the touchline, you know, is there much you can do in this kind of situation? Jepson with a very poor ball towards Harry Kane. Tries to cross the ball into the box and it does get blocked. That danger man in the form of Sheik has basically been pivotal for the Czech Republic, and they've almost just scored again. Every time they come forward, they look dangerous, and they look like they're on the verge of creating a clear-cut chance. Meanwhile, with us, we just blast the ball over the bar. There's only really one more thing I potentially have in mind, and that is to move Rashford centrally and rely on width down the left-hand side to merely come from Ben Chilwell. That's it. Other than that, I'm completely out of ideas. I mean, a lot of the aftermath that we're seeing now is kind of down to the fact that we are throwing so much forward. 70th minute will basically be overload. But we had those two moments where we turned off and we went 2-0 down, and you're 1-0 down. You don't concede straight away again from kickoff. That's how we conceded. And we're about to lose our first ever World Cup game. I can't quite believe it. Get that ball forward. Can we please win the ball in the air? The answer's no. Kane, come on now. Get men forwards. Hughes, Jones, Jepson. Finds a runner, Marcus Rashford. Drill it in. And we put it into the side netting. We're on overload now. I've told Pickford to come forward for corners as well. I really don't know what to say. I can't quite believe what I've seen. I'm astonished we've not at least got one goal back with, the amount, with how we've changed how we're playing. Pickford's come up and, well, it's a bit meaningless in the end. Jepson whips it in and, of course, Harry Kane is offside. Not even fighting for the ball. Hughes to Kane and, well, he's been watching the Emil Heskey videos again, hasn't he? We have 3 strikers to their 4 centre-backs. The amount of pace on Rig Dix, he should be able to, get on the end of the direct ball like that and finish a one-on-one chance. But he hasn't. Jepson can't reach the pass. Just one goal, boys. One goal. One goal. I'm sorry that this episode has been so crap. I'm watching this in disbelief. And now they're wasting time. You've got to score from here. And Roger Jepson's injured. He's probably out for the tournament. Goal scoring position. And we are now down to 10 men. You cannot make this up. I know how Steve McLaren felt. Looking at the bright side, I'm not stood on the touchline with an umbrella. Come on, we got 4 minutes, boys. I want a goal. That's all I'm asking for. That's offside. Hughes, why Hughes played that pass, I don't know. Why they even bothered celebrating that at 2-1, I don't know. Pick the ball up and run back. I can't believe this. I cannot believe this. I cannot believe this. Chilwell, come on, you've got a good cross on your lad. Ball goes straight through Harry Kane, caught by their goalkeeper who can't even kick the ball out. Yeah, Dele Alli's injured. Roger Jepson is injured. And that wasn't the start to the World Cup that I think any of us had planned. there's still time to redeem ourselves with a win against Chile and a win against Tunisia. But I think that it's going to be tight. It is going to be tight. It could come down to goal difference because I can see Chile beating the Czech Republic. But at the same time, I can still see us beating Chile. And the Czech Republic will probably pick up a win here and there as well. Roger Jepson has torn his hamstring. And Dele Alli is out for 3 days. Will he be back for the next game? He will, yeah. And the next game's against Chile. Ideally, you want Tunisia because that's probably an easier game. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I think the less said about this episode, the better. Thanks for watching.